What's up? I'm Mandy from New York. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Growing up was very difficult for me. At the age of just 4, our family moved into a small village and I had to work on our family farm milking cows. One day I was milking the cows in the barn when the wind slammed the door shut and one of the cows got startled. It kicked out its back hooves and smashed me on the mouth. I let out a loud scream and my parents came bursting into the barn. When they checked my mouth, they noticed both of my teeth were missing.
Mandy, let me check your mouth.
We need to get her to the hospital immediately.
Let me take a look. Looks like she will be fine. Her teeth will grow back over time.
But years went by and my teeth never came back. We realized that something was very, very wrong with me.
We've run some tests and your daughter has a rare condition that limits her production of teeth. I'm afraid she will never grow new teeth unless you can afford surgery. Although I must admit, it is very pricey.
My parents were poor, so there was no way we could afford it. I would have to suffer a terrible smile for the rest of my life. I would get teased about it all the time at school. I remember in 5th grade, I had just moved to a new school. When I entered the classroom, the teacher asked me to introduce myself. "Hi, I'm Mandy," I smiled. Then everyone, including the teacher, gasped in horror.
Ew, gross! What's wrong with your teeth?
She's a monster!
I was so embarrassed and horrified. But then I felt someone step up beside me. It was a boy, a kid with brown hair and glasses.
Hey, don't be mean!
The boy turned to me and smiled. He was really cute. "I'm Ahmed. It's nice to meet you." I sat down at the back of the class and felt a little better. Later at lunch, I grabbed my lunch tray and started to walk towards an empty table when I collided with someone, spilling my food all over me.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry,
The boy looked at me.
Oh, hey, I remember you. I'm Ahmed.
Hi. I was really shy.
I like your shoes.
I was wearing my favorite white Nikes. Thanks. I like your glasses.
Thanks. Do you want to have lunch with me today?
Sure. We had lunch and it was awesome. Turns out we had a lot of the same interests. We agreed pineapple was the worst thing on pizza, Attack on Titan was the best show ever, and we both loved playing soccer. When the bell rang for lunch, Ahmed asked me to hang out again. I agreed. I was so glad I'd found a friend. Ever since that day, Ahmed and I have been best friends. And I'll be honest, I've always wanted to be more than just a friend to Ahmed, but I always get the feeling that Ahmed doesn't feel the same way about me. So I usually just suck it up and push through the pain that Ahmed doesn't have a crush on me. I'm usually good at keeping my feelings inside, but one time at a pool party, I just couldn't. Vixie, the mean girl at school, was hosting the party. I hated Vixie. She always commented about my teeth whenever I passed by her. One time, I opened my locker to find a note saying, "No one wants a girl with holes in her smile." And I'm certain Vixie was the one that wrote it, because when I read it, I could hear her laughing as she watched me. She always had a gang of followers around, some worthless sheep who just wanted to use her to gain popularity. I really didn't want to go to her pool party. I couldn't even swim. My parents never had enough money to pay for swimming lessons, but Ahmed convinced me to go. When we arrived, Vixie's parents greeted us at the door. They let Ahmed in, but blocked my way so I couldn't enter.
Who invited you?"
snapped Vixie's mom. "I'm with Ahmed."
Oh God, what's wrong with your teeth?
Ahmed appeared to save me. "Come on, Mandy." While he dragged me away, I'm pretty sure I heard Vixie's mom say I looked like a human rabbit. How rude! Ahmed went to get changed while I waited by the poolside. I spotted Vixie on a daybed, while an audience of sheep surrounded her. They all snickered, whispering,
I hope she doesn't think she could really have Ahmed.
Vixie was wearing this super tiny bikini, and I have to admit, she looked hot. "Hey, Mandy." I turned to look at Ahmed, and my heart skipped a beat. He was shirtless, and his body was like an Olympic swimmer. While I stared, I felt someone brush by me. It was Vixie.
Hey, Ahmed,
she said silkily. My blood immediately started to boil.
You're looking extra cute today.
Oh, thanks, Vixie.
Hey, Ahmed, let's go get some soda. I tried to put myself between Vixie and Ahmed. Vixie looked at me like she had just noticed me.
Oh, Mandy, I'm so sorry.
Huh? Why are you sorry? I'm so sorry you were born with such hideous teeth.
Ouch. I really walked into that one. While Vixie laughed, I grabbed someone's drink and splashed it all over her. She screamed.
You brat!
She shoved me and I fell into the pool. Panic clouded my mind. I couldn't swim. I splashed and gasped for something, but all my hands met was empty water. I sank deeper and deeper. No one seemed to notice I was drowning. I started to lose energy, and I waited for the end, when suddenly, a strong arm wrapped itself around me and lifted me to the surface. Ahmed held me to him while I shook uncontrollably.
There, Mandy. You're okay.
Vixie watched Ahmed hold me and scoffed.
Ha! What a drama queen!
Vixie, you nearly killed her. Mandy can't swim.
What kind of person can't swim? What a loser!
Honestly, you're unbelievable.
Ahmed lifted me up and carried me inside. He wrapped me in a warm towel and we got some privacy in one of the rooms in Vixie's house. When we sat down, I felt so emotional. I don't know whether it was the fact that I had nearly died or that Ahmed had saved me, or everything all at once. But the words slipped from my mouth before I could stop them. I have a crush on you, Ahmed. Ahmed froze.
What?
I have a crush on you. I'm so sorry if this ruins our friendship or makes things weird, but I had to tell you.
Wow, this is a lot to think about.
Ahmed grabbed my hands.
Listen, Mandy, I can't give you an answer right now. Can you wait a bit? I just need to clear my head.
I nodded. Of course. The next week was Ahmed's birthday, and I was so excited since I got him the best gift ever. An Attack on Titan lamp that lit up and played the intro song. It cost a lot, but I'd been saving up for a while. The party was at Ahmed's house that evening, but I wanted to surprise him earlier with the gift, so I walked over to his house at noon. I'd never met his parents yet because Ahmed had been really secretive about it for some reason. But when I arrived, I realized why. He was rich! There were dozens of fancy cars in the driveway, a huge boat and their own private lake, and even a helicopter pad. When I knocked on the door, their parents opened it and beamed.
You must be Mandy. Ahmed's told us a lot about you.
Come in. Ahmed will be down shortly.
I was busting for the bathroom though, so they directed me upstairs. The bathroom was so luxurious, but when I exited, I heard some voices and one of them sounded like Ahmed. I entered the room where the voices were coming from, but found the shock of my life. Ahmed was kissing a girl, and that girl was Vixie.
Mandy,
How could you?
Mandy, I'm so sorry. This was a mistake.
Hey!
Please, Mandy, let me make it up to you. I'll pay for the teeth surgery that you've been dying for.
I hesitated. If I could finally get that surgery, then all my problems would be solved. I nodded. Okay, fine. We have a deal. A few weeks later, I had the surgery and didn't see anyone for days. Then it was time for my big reveal. I arrived at school, and when I entered the classroom, I smiled. Everyone stopped to stare. One boy walked up to me nervously.
Wow, Mandy, you look beautiful.
I blushed. No guy had ever spoken to me before. Pretty soon, the guys were all over me. I was more excited to show Ahmed my new smile, but he didn't seem that shocked or impressed. That made me a little sad, but hey, now half the class wanted to date me, so I could move on from Ahmed now. He was still my best friend, so I asked him for advice on who I should date. Now that guys think I'm beautiful, I can actually start to date people. Who should I date?
Oh, Mandy, you were always beautiful.
I froze. What did you just say? Ahmed looked embarrassed and cleared his throat.
Nothing. Don't worry. Mark's pretty nice. Maybe date him?
That was kind of weird, but I knew Ahmed didn't feel the same about me, so I moved on. In class the next day, I was inspecting boys who I could potentially date when my eyes fell on someone new. He must have just moved to our school. He was really cute, and he had that dark, mysterious vibe to him. I could tell other girls were looking at him too. Suddenly, he turned and we made eye contact. I smiled, showing my teeth, and he looked mesmerized. But then, the look vanished and he turned the other way. I was smitten. When the bell rang, we went out into the hallway. I spotted the new guy and boldly walked up to him. Hey, are you the new kid?
Yeah.
I'm Mandy. What's your name?
Cody?
It's nice to meet you. If you want, I could show you around.
Yeah, nah, I'm good.
Then he walked away without even saying goodbye. How rude! When I told Ahmed about it, he agreed I shouldn't try dating that guy. But then one day, Ahmed and I went to the skate park, and Cody was there too. I tried to avoid him as much as possible. Ahmed left to get us some ice cream. Then suddenly someone yelled, "Watch out!" And I turned to find a skateboard flying straight towards me. Ah! I braced for the pain on a board smashing into my face, but I felt nothing. I opened my eyes and the skateboard seemed to be levitating. Well, no, actually, someone had caught it midair and saved me. I turned to see who my savior was, and you'll never believe who saved me. Cody!
Wow, thanks, Cody.
Cody just looked at me.
Sure.
We hung out for the rest of the day. Cody took me to this crazy restaurant that served everything in shoe wear. I ordered pumpkin soup in a boot. It was so weird, but so cool at the same time. Kinda like Cody. He was actually pretty cool, but he just came off as moody sometimes. Hours passed and we were sitting by the park's lake watching the sunset. Cody looked at me.
You know, I've been wanting to kiss you for the past hour.
I gulped and blushed. Well, what are you waiting for? Cody leaned in, but suddenly Ahmed's voice interrupted us.
Mandy, I've been looking for you for hours.
Ahmed walked up to us, 2 melted ice cream cones in his hands.
Where have you been?
Ahmed, I'm kind of in the middle of something.
What are you doing here?
Ahmed said to Cody. Ahmed!
Come on, Mandy, let's go.
Ahmed grabbed my hand and dragged me away. I protested, but he dragged me all the way to the other side of the park. What was that about? We were about to kiss.
You can't date him.
What?
You can't date anybody.
Ahmed, why would you say that?
Because
Ahmed stopped and looked at me seriously.
I like you.
I was frozen. But suddenly, my body moved on its own, and we were kissing.
What's going on here?
Cody! Listen. But Ahmed stepped forward.
Get lost, dude. She's with me. If I remember correctly, we were about to kiss just minutes before. Bro, leave.
No, you leave. Cody shoved Ahmed. Guys, please. Ahmed shoved Cody back, and suddenly they were full on fighting. I had to call others to help me pull them apart. And finally, I managed to tell Cody that, "Hey, I'm sorry, but you and I aren't going to work." When he left, he yelled,
"Hey, Ahmed, you're gonna regret this."
The next day, I told my parents about Ahmed. I was so happy, and they already knew I'd had a crush on him for ages. But to my surprise and dismay, they were really disappointed. Ahmed isn't good for you.
Yeah, we don't really like him.
I was so shocked. He was my best friend. I hung out with him all the time. Now my parents tell me they didn't approve of Ahmed? I didn't care though. I continued to date Ahmed for a while. But then for the summer break, he told me some bad news. He was going to spend the next month in Pakistan with his family. But it was okay. We'd see each other again soon. I was at home one day when I opened the door to find Cody there. What are you doing at my house?
He came to give you this.
He gave me my necklace.
You dropped this in class. I was gonna give it to you then, but you'd left so quickly.
Oh, thanks. I was about to close the door on his face when my parents appeared behind me out of nowhere. Honey, don't shut the door. Invite your friend for dinner. What were my parents doing? This wasn't like them at all. To my horror, Cody had dinner with us. It was so awkward, but my parents seemed to love Cody. When he left, this is what my mom said. Forget about Ahmed. You should date someone like Cody. Seriously? But I don't like Cody. I like Ahmed. They just wouldn't listen. For the next few weeks, my parents invited Cody around all the time, despite my protests. I was so confused by my parents' behavior, but then one day I found the answers to my questions. I was cleaning the house and I was in my parents' bedroom. I opened a drawer to reorganize it and found a random envelope. Usually I wouldn't be so intrusive, but the letter had Cody's name on it. Curious, I opened it. Inside were a ton of $100 bills. Where had my parents gotten this? Why was Cody's name on it? Then I noticed something else, a note. It was from Cody, and he was telling my parents if they forced me to date Cody instead of Ahmed, he'd send them this amount of cash every month. I felt so betrayed. How could my parents do this to me? That evening at dinner, I immediately confronted them. How could you do this to me? My mother immediately burst into tears. My father put his arm around her.
Listen, Mandy, you have to understand. We can barely afford food. This cash would really help us. But if you really don't want to do this, then we won't force you. We'll tell Cody no.
At first, I agreed, but then I hesitated. If we didn't do this, we'd be turning down a lot of money. Maybe I could do it for a bit while Ahmed was still away in Pakistan with his family. I could just pretend to date Cody. I looked up at my parents. I'll do it. For the next few weeks, I pretended to date Cody. I could tell he was surprised by my sudden switch, but he sure enjoyed it. We made out all the time, and I have to admit, he was a really good kisser. But other than that, I hated his personality. He was rude, self-absorbed, and just an all-around jerk. I missed Ahmed so much. He wasn't due back for another month, so I would have to put up with Cody for ages. One day we were at the skate park, the same place we first met, and Cody leaned down and kissed me. While we were kissing, I heard a voice I never would have expected.
Mandy?
I broke away from Cody to find Ahmed standing over us. Ahmed, what are you doing back?
I came back early to surprise you because I missed you. And you're cheating on me?
No, it's not what it looks like. Cody stood up smugly.
Yep, she's mine now. She told me she thought you were gross, so that's why she came to me.
What? I never said that. Ahmed had tears in his eyes. He turned around and took off. Ahmed, wait! I rushed after him. I followed him into the city but soon lost him. I turned down an alley to a dead end. When I turned back around, there was a man standing there. He had a knife in his hand.
Give me your money.
I screamed and I saw Cody run by down the street. Cody, help! Cody saw me, saw the robber, then backed away and abandoned me. What a coward! The robber advanced towards me. I screamed for help, but it looked like no one would come. I would die here alone, and Ahmed would think I had cheated on him. But then suddenly the robber fell to the ground unconscious. Ahmed was here. He knocked out the robber with a random dustbin lid, and he wrapped me in his arms. I explained everything to him. Cody's offer of money, my parents' betrayal, everything. Ahmed hugged me tight and told me he forgave me.
You're the one for me.
So are you. We kissed and I felt like the luckiest girl in the world.